Hello, beautiful souls. Renee Massey here, Valkyrie Mystics. So amazing to be with you on this amazing, beautiful, magical Friday. I wanted to pop in here because there's been so many different changes and developments in my business recently, and coming into 2024, coming into a new year, I think you're always thinking to yourself, like, this is what I want to create, this is what I want to see happen, this is the way I want to feel, these are all the things, right? And I know very much, and I know very well that things don't necessarily come together the way that you think they should, or they don't come together in the way that you have imagined it in your mind and the way that you possibly have planned it out and mapped it. And I want you to know that that's okay, because it rarely turns out the way that you think it's going to or supposed to. Things always seem either catastrophic in our mind, or they seem really amazing and glamorous and luxurious. You know, like we have these different narratives that we use in our lives all of the time. And these narratives are the stories that we tell. They are the things that we connect with. They are it's a narrative that you have in your mind almost constantly. And it is a really great, helpful narrative, or it's a really debilitating narrative that is going to slow down your progress. It's going to throw a stick in the spokes. And we don't like that when that happens, but understand that sometimes it's actually a really good thing that happens for you. What I wanted to talk about today was about balance. I want to talk about balance because I'm a Libra. No, I want to talk about balance because I think it's something that so many people crave in their lives on a daily basis. I think it's something that everybody wants. I think it's something that everybody's looking for. I think it's the thing that scares people in a really big way when they want to do big things. So what I have seen as a business owner, as a mother, as a wife, as a friend, as so many different things that I am in my life, as a daughter, as a sister, as all of these different hats that I wear, you know, I've seen how when we put our energy in different areas, it can absolutely sabotage us. You know, we can feel off kilter. We can feel like we're spinning out of control. We can feel like we are drained and we've given so much energy to everywhere else, and what is left for us? Not much. But we've also been kind of programmed and trained to live our lives like this. And so when it comes to balance, why is it so important that we find balance in our lives? It's really just about you. It's not about anybody else. So the balance has to be for you. It's not there for everybody else. So this is what I have been kind of like, I've been journaling about this a lot because I feel like it's coming up a lot in people's lives. And it's come up in my life. I mean, I have a physical business. I have an online business. I have memberships. I have courses. I have private clients. I have 2 children. I have a household. I have a husband. I have a family. I have all of these different moving parts. I have team members that work for me. It is a lot to juggle. And how do you know if you're doing a good job? How do you know if you're doing the right thing? How do you know if everything is coming together? It's because you can feel an alignment. Having balance is another really nice way of saying you have alignment in your life. However, most of us do not have alignment in our lives because we don't know how to get there. And we don't know how to get there because we've been taught very backwards ways of living. We've been taught very backwards ways of observing life and how to serve others and ourselves. So I'm going to explain what has come through for me, because this is something that I was trying to get more clarity on. This was something I was journaling about. This was something I was actually channeling information for. And I started getting some pretty strong downloads about this balance thing. So let's dive into it, shall we? And let me know if you are here on the replay. Let me know like how you're doing. Let me know where you're at in your life. Let me know if this resonates with you. Let me know. Please let me know if it doesn't resonate with you. Anybody who comes into my world, I'm going to tell you right now, I do not profess to be some sort of expert on everything. I have definitely acquired an expertise in a variety of different areas because I've been doing this work for over 25 years. But I do not believe that I have every answer that is available, that I don't know every avenue that is possible for us to find this balance. I will tell you what I have found for myself and what I have used with my clients and how this is impacting myself and how this is impacting them. And I'm hoping that you can get on board with this. And if it's something that you don't get on board with or you can't get on board with, that's okay too. Take what you can, leave the rest. There's no pressure, okay? But what I have found in my experience is that most individuals are living on the sidelines of their own life. Okay. So I really started leaning into that concept about like living on the sidelines. Like, how many of you feel like you're living on the sidelines of your own life? And what that means is that everything is happening, right? Everything is happening and you're kind of like on the outskirts of what's happening. And it feels like you don't have any control. You are not really sure what you have to contribute. You're not really sure what's expected. You're kind of just like hanging out on the sidelines, waiting for something to either tap you in or let you know, like, yes, this is where you're needed. This is what you have to do. This is where you have to go. These are the people you have to help. This is what you're responsible for, blah, 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 blah. So there's a lot of things that you already know, that you already recognize, like, these are my responsibilities. Then there's other things that are coming through that are like, I want to do these things. I want to grow. I want to develop. I want to expand. I want to discover who I am. I want to do some deeper healing for myself. I want to prioritize myself. But it feels like it's almost impossible to do that because you don't have balance, because you're on the sidelines. Everything else, it's like you're just watching it unfold. You don't necessarily feel like you have an authority over what's happening, how it's happening, just a variety of different things like that. Whether you're running your own business or you're not, it could be in your relationships, it could be with, work stuff. We still work, right? So whether you're a business owner or you're working for somebody else, doesn't really matter. Work-life balance is still a thing. It could just be a little bit more challenging to find that work-life balance if you are feeling very accountable for everything that you do at work. That is how being a business owner is. There are some jobs that you can work and then you clock in, you do your job, you clock out, you don't think about it at all until you have to clock in again. That is not the kind of person that I am. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, I'm always looking for new opportunities to expand, to grow, to serve, to help, to support, to teach, to guide, to do all of these different things. So my world means that I think about my work a lot. Not in a bad way, in actually a really amazing, beautiful, wonderful way, because it actually feels so much fun and creative, and it feels very much in alignment with the direction of my life. So I'm actually good with that. And I've made adjustments in my business because of different things that I did feel changing. I'm not really feeling this anymore. Like, I am no longer going to be teaching classes in the evenings. I might do a one-off event in the evening, but I will not be teaching classes, like consecutive classes in the evening, because it no longer aligns with my life and my schedule. And I realized that I had been, doing that to simply accommodate everybody else. And as a business owner, obviously it's important to make sure that you're reaching your clients. However, being a business owner for as long as I have been, I've decided to make some changes. And so my life is realigning with those changes. And so you might find yourself like, okay, so if I'm making changes here, obviously I'm hoping that's going to help create a little bit more balance here, where everything is a ripple effect. Everything impacts everything else. So if you decide to spend more time working than spending time with your family, that's a ripple effect, right? But if you say that I know I need to spend more time with my family because I want to, and I just feel that pull, then obviously something else has to be sacrificed along the way. And this is where we get very overwhelmed and we get very frustrated, because if you have, a job that requires more dedication, time, commitment from you, and you also want to spend more time with your family, how do you decide which is the winner, right? How do you decide what wins this battle? Who gets the attention? And so sometimes that can feel very overwhelming. It feels like a lot of pressure. How do I make the right decision? I don't want to make the wrong decision. But at the same time, you're looking at it through a filter of being on the sidelines of your own life. So this is what I would love for you to start doing for yourself, is I want you to imagine that either you are at the center of a circle, and at the center of the circle, that's you, and everything else is around you. And there's a balanced radius across the entire circle, you at the center. So what I had felt was, in order to have, this is what came through, one day, all of a sudden, I think this came through in a session and it just channeled. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to write this down really quick. I have to use this. So what had come through was, if you want balance in your life, put yourself at the center of your life. Now, this is immediately going to feel like, I can't do that. I can't do that. This is like very uncomfortable. I can't put myself at the center of my life. I have this and I have that and blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying that you are going to step into the center of your life completely overnight. Okay. I didn't do that for myself overnight either, but it was a conscientious effort and it was a commitment to recognize like what's working, what's not working. If you cannot put yourself at the center of your own life, you have to ask yourself why. Why are you not at the center of your own life? Why is it that you either prefer to be on the sidelines or you don't know how to move away from the sidelines? Like, if it's that you just don't know how to do this, then that's a completely different thing. Because that's what I see many people getting very uncomfortable with, is that I really want this change. I really want to do this thing, but I know that I already have a pretty full plate. And how can I add anything else to that plate? How can I add expansion, growth, development, healing, diving into my gifts, diving into my business, doing all of these amazing things, helping people in different ways, earning an income doing that, like earning money with my gifts? How can I take on anything else when I feel like I'm pretty well scattered or spread very thin? This happens when you are not at the center of your life and you are not the authority of your life. Understand that you are the lead character in your story. And if you are giving somebody else the lead role because that's what they choose, that's what they want, there's going to be people that absolutely want to be the lead character in your story. Absolutely going to want to be there. Now, it's your choice whether or not you will allow them to be the lead character in your story. It's your story. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm going to invite you to not let them be the main character of your story and to make you the main character of your story, and everybody else in the story is all like really great, amazing, like supporting roles that help you to grow, that enrich your life, that support your life, that, really bring so much color and life to the story itself, right? When you're writing a story, you know that there's going to be a conflict, you know that there's going to be a challenge, you know that there's going to be a climax, you know that there's hopefully going to be a very happy ending. However, when you're writing your story and somebody else is the main character of your story, how do you think that changes the story? So it doesn't sound very good, does it? It doesn't sound very good to make somebody else the main character of your story. I have people that would love to be the main character in my story. Love it. They will pull on my energy and they will be like, why aren't you getting back to me? Why aren't you making me more important in your life right now? Why is it that I feel like I'm on the sidelines? Because you are. Because you are on the sidelines. The main character in my story is me. Okay? And the story can change on a daily basis. Yesterday, I did like 5 sessions with clients. It was a very busy day. It was a very amazing day. I saw my clients have so many incredible, impactful, transformational changes. It was just like a day that completely lit me up so much. They were the supporting characters of my story all day yesterday. And then when I got home, my family were the supporting characters of my story, and it was amazing. But nobody else is the main character in my story. It's me. Okay? So how does that fit your life? Does this connect? Does this fit? Does this feel like you're getting like what I'm putting down? Are you picking up what I'm putting down in terms of like, and we also cannot be the main character in other people's stories. So this might be a good way to think about it too, because we will often think about when I'm talking here, you're going to be like, yeah, like somebody else wants to be a main character in my story, and I feel that, and they're pulling on my energy, and they're bothering me, and all of these different things, and so like they want to be a main character in my story, and they can't. But also reflect on the fact that you might try to be a main character in somebody else's story, and you might be pulling on their energy too. Why aren't they getting back to me? Why aren't they responding? Why am I not more important? Why am I not the main feature in their day? Why are they not thinking about me all the time? Why are they not, why didn't they invite me to go to dinner that night? Why did they invite somebody else? Why are they doing these things that, make me feel like I'm not as important as I feel like I should be in their lives? Well, because you're probably a supporting character, you're not the main character. You're not the lead in that story, right? These are the types of things that really create a lot of disharmony in our lives. Can you feel that? Like, and where do you feel it in your body? Where do you feel that dynamic showing up in your body right now when you feel like this is a huge part of why my life isn't any balance, is because I'm living on the sidelines and everybody else is trying to be a main character, and I'm giving them that opportunity to bulldoze me, to knock me down, to make me feel like I can't make decisions for myself, to make me feel like I'm not as empowered as I should be. The only person that can make any changes to the story is you. It's your story, you know? So putting yourself at the center of the story, putting yourself at the center of it all will help you harmonize and create more balance. It doesn't mean that there won't be a little bit of turbulence along the way, a little bit of resistance from other people if they have already fallen into a pattern of thinking that they are main characters in your story and not just supportive roles. Okay? So there's some that are going to be really incredible supportive roles. The best friend, the partner, the parents, the siblings, like these are the children, like these are all incredible supportive roles. The favorite coworkers, some of the challenging people, people that might feel a little bit more adversarial, they might feel a little bit more challenging. And so, they can also become main characters if that's all you do is think about them. So understand that if you are at the center of your own life, then you have a full 360 panoramic view of what is happening. Think of it as like a wheel. Think of you at like the center of that wheel, and the wheel is always turning around you, like the world is always turning around you. There's always movement. There's always stuff that's happening. But each spoke on the wheel represents an area of your life. An area of your life that wants to be adjusted and balanced and harmonized in a way that you haven't been able to do before. So I think that this is all very important for us to talk about. I think that we have to have like some very strong conversations around this subject matter, because so many people feel completely out of balance, untethered, feeling like everything else is controlling their lives, and they don't have a strong say in how they live their lives. And really, it is your choice. It is your choice. And if you feel like it's not your choice, and that is based on a belief pattern that has been created that basically told you that you don't have a choice. Your job is to basically take care of everybody else and you fall last. And if that works for you, then keep doing it. Keep doing it. But if it doesn't work for you, then it's time to find a way to realign the energy, to step back into a place of power within your own life, to put yourself at the center of it, and everything else is on the sidelines, and you can decide where that energy goes. You can feel more balanced and more harmonized knowing that you're doing everything in your power to make sure that your business is on track, that, things are moving, the finances are in order, the house is in order, my relationships are in order, everything is peachy. And anything that is not in alignment, this is where the work comes in. Where's the resistance? Where are you feeling blocked? What are you afraid of? Where is the doubt showing up from? What is it that you can't trust about this experience, and helping yourself become more authoritative as the center of your own existence? You were not put here to be the center of anybody else's existence unless you have a small child. You are the center of their existence if they cannot take care of themselves, okay? Or if you are a caretaker for somebody who cannot take care of themselves. Other than that, you are the center of your own existence. Think about the sun. Think about the sun. That beautiful, big ball of fire energy in the sky. It is at the center of our solar system, okay? And I want you to think about that, because everything else in the solar system moves around it. Everything moves around it. It is the main character in the story, which is why Leo is so associated with the sun. The sign Leo is ruled by the sun because they are typically the center of their own existence. They recognize the importance of being at the center of their world, okay? So with that sun, then you have an orbit of all of these planets that are moving around it, right? Moving parts. like a wheel that turns, and everything's turning, everything is changing, everything is moving. Sometimes you might pause, sometimes you might take a step back, but otherwise, everything is in constant motion. Even if you don't think it's in motion, there's always something that's happening on a more subatomic wavelength that is absolutely always moving. Energy is always moving. So even if it doesn't appear to be so by the naked eye, trust me, under the surface of that, it's moving. It's like if you were to walk on a frozen lake and it's got like this really thick sheet of ice at the top of it, there's still water underneath. There's still stuff that's happening underneath the surface. You just can't see it, and you can't experience it because it's being covered up by a frozen sheet of water. So this is the way life is. It's so magnificent. It's so beautiful. It's so much fun. It's so much fun to play around with the energetics of it, to see where things want to fit better, because things always have a way of fitting better, but you have to take the initiative. You have to be able to observe your world without having a tremendous amount of judgment on yourself. Like, forgive yourself, have compassion for yourself. We don't always have all the answers, and we don't always know how to figure everything out all the time. You know, this is why I do what I do, to be here for you, to help you navigate these really crazy wild waters sometimes. And I love doing it because, like I said, as a business owner, a mother, a wife, a daughter, a sister, a friend, all of these different things, a team leader, like, this is a huge part of my life, being able to know at the end of the day that I have served extraordinarily well, that I have a happy family, that my children are safe and they know that they're loved, that my husband is happy, that our home feels whole and happy together, that my business is thriving, that every client that I work with, every class that I teach, everybody that's on my team is happy, doing well, growing, transforming, healing, doing the big work, activating their gifts, moving their life in the right direction towards something that they can really embody and love it. That is what I do. So for those of you who are interested in kind of like, diving deeper into this conversation, I am so excited to do that with you. Please leave some questions or comments in the comments. Let me know that you're here. Let me know what's coming up for you. Let's dive into this. Next Thursday is 2/22. If you are on Instagram, I would encourage you to follow me at L Empire Inc. on Instagram. Next week, on Thursday, 2/22, at 2/22, I am going live and I am doing a free masterclass called Archetype. This is a masterclass that is going to teach women how to step into iconic power, sourcing iconic power from a variety of different archetypes that we work with, and feeling comfortable with that power, feeling authoritative, feeling empowered, feeling courageous, feeling nurtured, loved, comforted. There's so many different energies to work with. So we're going to be playing around with those energies to kind of really determine what are your top archetypes in your life. What energies do you pull on? What energies would you prefer to pull on? What are some of the harder archetypes that might be showing up for you? And how to really navigate that together. So that is going to be an incredible masterclass. It is for free. You do not want to miss it. I am going to go live next Tuesday, 2/22 at 2/22 Eastern. L Empire on Instagram. So I love you guys so much. I am so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. I hope that you know that you do have the ability to put yourself at the center of your own existence, to be the center of your world, the center of the solar system, to be the center of everything. Being that center does not mean that you are being selfish. It really depends on how you come across with all of it, to be completely honest, but it's just to make sure that you are looking at life through a lens of you, not somebody else, not a coworker, not a partner, not your parents, not your siblings, not your kids, nobody else but you. Let's put you back at the center of your life. Can't wait to talk to you about this more. Put it in the comments, ask your questions. I will talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.